talk actually is this. It's not really the introduction of the virtual assistant, but it's more about how chatbots and humans is a working relationship for Booking.com. So I think it's super important that I kind of start off this conversation that this is not going to be a conversation about personality or emotions, or it's basically how do you build a service bot for a company the scale of Booking.com. So let me just see if this clicker works. So in 2016, Booking.com started building a service bot to enhance the post-booking pre-stay experience. We call it the Booking Assistant. If you can wave, some of my team members are here as well. So if you could think about questions about user experience or copy issues or user flows, these guys can help you answer questions as well. So I'm going to try and keep it quite short to 20 minutes so we get some Q&A session in as well. So to explain to you the problem that we're trying to solve, I need to talk to you about the scale of Booking.com. So if I'm going to bore you with numbers for a little bit, but I think it's important. So this is the Booking.com story. We were founded in 1996, joined the Priceline Group in 2005. We have 204 offices in 77 different countries, and we employ 18,500 people across the world. So we have 25 million bookable rooms. This is Booking.com's core business, to sell rooms to all of you sitting in this room as well. We operate in 227 different countries, and those numbers go up and down the whole time as we add more offices or add new hotels to different countries. And this is probably one of our biggest problems if you think about it. We operate in 43 different languages as well. And this means customer service as well as the front-end product as well. So I think this is the number that I really, really want you to kind of think about the whole time as I talk. It's actually not 1.4 million, it's actually 1.5 million bookings every 24 hours. So I tried to kind of think, how can I explain it to you so that it actually makes sense, because it's a big number. So I Googled what's the population of Vienna? So if you shave off like what, 300,000 people, and you all start booking right now, that's one day at Booking.com. Or if you fill up the stadium in Beijing for 16 nights, then you get a representation of one day at Booking.com. So a typical booking experience for most of you guys would probably hear you use Booking.com when you came is you planned, you want to go to Vienna to this awesome conference, you searched and discovered, you looked for something cheap or in your budget, you booked your accommodation, you secured your booking, and you're done. Happy days. You're over, it's finished. So this is kind of not Vienna, but imagine you're going to the beach. So you've planned your holiday, your girlfriend is coming, your wife is happy, your kids are packed. This is kind of where you already see yourself when the weather looks like this. And then what happens is humans are humans. So our plans change, we forget stuff, and life happens. So typical problems that we see for booking would be stuff like this. My boss is a pain and won't give me the days off. I need to change my dates. This is something that typically happens to you when you would make a booking to try and organize your holiday. My mother-in-law invited her to our holiday. Maybe I can squeeze her into our room. I forgot to check if the hotel is free parking. I had to change my flight. I wonder if they have 24-hour check-in. So these are typical post-booking questions that some of you might have if you've made a booking. So let's imagine that 91,000 people speaking different languages who have different social interactions of how they want to solve problems, they phone Booking.com right now with their problem. And you times it by 16, or you spread it out, let's say 1 million people contact Booking. Let's say it's summer season, so maybe 1.6 million people contact Booking on one day, just with queries. These queries can be very complex or very simple queries. That's madness. I mean, how big is your call center? How big, must your business be to be able to deal with this? So in order to help the humans, we need more humans, yes? For you to be able to solve your problems, we need other people to help you solve your problems. So we have 15,000 agents. We have 43 languages, and they don't only help the customers, but they also help the accommodation sites. So for example, if you think about it, Booking.com we kind of see as the middleman here between the customer and the partner. We call the accommodation sites partners, but that can be anything from an igloo to a hotel to a yacht to whatever it is. And then we have customer service. And these guys have to help everybody as efficiently as possible. This is the fixed cost of Booking.com, is that massive customer call center grouping. So let's look at these problems again, and let's think about it in human terms. So I forgot to check into the hotel as free parking. This is like a one human problem. You'd probably email them, the hotel or the call center, and you'd figure out what's the problem there. I had to change my flight. I wonder if they have 24-hour security. That's maybe also a one human problem. My mother-in-law invited into our holiday. This is maybe a 3 to 4 problem because you've got to call the hotel, you've got to check if they can squeeze in somebody else. If they can't squeeze in somebody else, you've got to cancel your booking. You've got to see if your booking is free to cancel, and then you've got to find another hotel. Then my boss is a pain, I won't give me the days off. This is also a 4 to 5 human problem. So you kind of see the train that I'm trying to explain to you here of how many humans could be involved in one single problem. So this is our big challenge. What can we automate to help our customer service agents with their workload and be useful to our customers? So we have to be useful to both our customers and both to the business. We can't just build something that doesn't have a use. We have to help people. So, and this is the booking assistant. So meet the booking assistant, a virtual customer agent in training. So there's a little screenshot of our booking assistant. The point of this assistant is to be a baseline type agent, to be like a baby agent that's training how to answer baby type questions. The best way to explain it would be to say, if we rate the difficulty of solving a query and we do it on this kind of scale, then you would say, for us, we keep it simple, or focus automation efforts on the kinds of queries with high volume that are repetitive while facilitating and learning from human contact. So what do you guys think would be like a repetitive query? This is a group session question. Changing dates. What?
Saving money.
How would that be a one human problem?
If I have a high volume, it costs a lot of money.
Yes?
And reduce the volume, I save some money.
Yes, but what would be a typical question if you're a customer that would you ask Booking.com that you think only one human would be able to solve? Cancel reservation.
Availability, are my dates free available?
That's interesting as well. That's actually quite tricky. That's actually super tricky. So you guys are totally right in all your assumptions here. What we're trying to do is build a service bot that will deal with a one human issue. And the typical one human issue that we're trying to deal with would be check-in, check-out, stuff that's hidden in our policies. So if you think about Booking.com, it's quite a noisy site, yes? There's lots going on. If you get your booking confirmation, it's potentially 10 scrolls down. So a typical use case would be, how many of you remember the time that you had to check into your hotel when you came here? Just show of hands, how many of you remember? There's one. How many of you had to check? Okay, so this is the type of questions that we believe our bot can help with. So the idea would not be that our bot can answer every single one issue question, because questions are compounded, questions are difficult to deal with for us. But we try and answer these one question queries, and then we facilitate these other questions. So a typical experience would be, the answer comes in, you would ask, is there free parking at my hotel? The bot goes like, yeah, I think there's free parking. I'm going to show you the policy for parking. You go like, but I've got a really big car. The bot goes like, I'm not sure if I understand what's a really big car. Then the bot sends it to a human. So the human would be the call center agent or would be the accommodation site. And then we learn from this interaction so that next time we can answer you better. So this was a typical use case that I've just explained to you as well. So here was a great video of the actual product, but because we're on my MacBook presentation issues, I couldn't show you the video of how it actually works. So this is what the type of queries that we can actually answer in the Booking Assistant. arrival and departure information, parking queries, transport questions, basic payment information. Basic, I mean really basic. Checking of your booking confirmation. Did you guys know that one of the number one queries that Booking.com gets is my booking confirmed? So just think about the opportunity here to automate something as simple as that. Because as soon as you actually made a booking on Booking, your booking is confirmed, it's a no-brainer. But most people still want to check. So instead of it going to a customer agent or to a partner and say, yes, it's kind of confirmed, we can just have a bot saying, yes, it's confirmed. Thanks very much. See you later. Instead of like employing 3 or 4 or 20 or 20,000 people to do something that simple. So why I put like a little stars next to manage room cancellation and managing date changes is it's very difficult because an apartment versus an hotel's got very different policies. So if you think about it, there needs to be a level of complexity as well, because the bot needs to decide this is a hotel with a specific cancellation policy, so I as a bot can deal with it. This is an apartment with a very complex cancellation policy, so I can't deal with it. And then the bot needs to send it to a human. So what do we struggle with? So if you think about payments as a big topic, so if you compound questions around payments, like my credit card failed, I want to cancel my booking, I hate you. The bot has no idea how to deal with those questions. So what the bot would need to do is send it to a human. We can say to you, this is the payment policy, you can pay with these cards, this is how long you can pay, but at the end of the day, we still need a human to help us here to define what's going on in that message. Context on multiple bookings and questions. So this is a very unique problem to booking. I want you to think about it. Like if you think about Poncho, or if you think about some of the chat field bots, or some of the other representations here today of other bots, is it's one entity. It's Poncho talking to you. What's your name? Okay, talking to you, just you. So if you think about it, booking is in a very different situation because you potentially have 2 bookings and multiple questions, and it all happens in one single thread. So the complexity of contextualizing what's going on in this single thread becomes really difficult for us to do. Also for us to be able to port our product to other platforms like WhatsApp and Facebook, we need this single thread. So we have all these multiple conversations and questions going on, and it actually takes a designer a lot of thinking, and the copywriters a lot of thinking to contextualize constantly what's going on in that chat. Then we're not learning fast enough. I think everybody in this room can agree that we need to learn faster. And then Booking.com is not a small talk system at the moment. Dialogue is not what we're concentrating on. What we're doing is like one question answers. We're trying to just get you to answer that one question that you've got about your booking. We're just trying to get that answer right. What we've also learned from our user experience is that people don't actually need a conversation. All they want is an answer. They don't actually want you to make jokes and send emojis about amazing things. All they need is an answer, and they need an answer fast. So how are the humans helping us? So this is a typical kind of learning curve for us. Customer queries, machine checks if it can answer. Machine cannot answer, machine sends it to the human. The human here is a partner, an accommodation partner, or the human is a customer call center agent, and the machine learns from the human. The machine can answer, machine gets it right, machine gets it wrong, machine gets it wrong, it sends it back to a human. So that's why it's so important that we have this human component teaching and training the bot the whole time. So this is kind of, to give you a little bit more of a granular view of all the humans that's helping us build this bot. So we have a customer service pilot team. We're in this extraordinary position that we have 15 agents that's helping us shape this product. So if you think about it, we kind of need to keep the customer really happy at booking. So if we piss you off for some reason and get your answer really wrong, you're going to cancel your booking, yes? And we're going to lose money. And ideally what we want to do is a controlled environment where we can grow and learn from this product without really hurting any kind of conversions. So our pilot team basically deals with volume. So messages would come in, they would learn from it, and they would also see how many messages can we actually deal with. And based on these messages, we can actually throttle how many messages goes into the system, or we push it straight to a human or not. Also what's great, but they QA the process for us. So if you think about it, you don't want a crappy answer from a bot if you're an active customer with an active booking. You need a great answer, so they help us QA the system as well. We have a content executive team. These are amazing people who sit and read reams and reams and reams of messages, and we have topic lists, and they basically tag all of these topics to see what's going on in a message. So we would tell them, today you're just focusing on payments, and they would read 4,000 messages, and they're just looking for tags and topics around payments. And then they send it back to us. Then we get an idea on volume. So for example, we would know there's more issues on failed credit cards and payment methods and unexpected charges. But there's potentially no issues on something like taxes and charges on a specific room. Also, we go through numerous cycles with these guys. Then guests. This is super important for us because we want to keep our guests as happy as possible and in the center of everything. So we have feedback loops. So literally every single conversation you would have with the product, you'd say, this sucked, or this is great, or I didn't like it, or you'd give us feedback immediately if you actually like this experience or not. So far we have an 80-20% ratio. So 80% is positive, 20% is negative. And why do you think it's negative? Come on, let's see people think about why would they have a crappy experience with the product. Yes, what else? What else can you think of? It's raining. So let's think about the product.
The bot cost me time and money. I just wanted to speak to a person.
It's one for sure, tick for you. What else? You must think of something. What is something that we love about bots versus, for example, emails?
Very fast.
Speed. So if the hotel responds late, or the customer service agent responds late, they think it's the product's fault. Because it's the product's fault, the product is useless. So bots in our kind of environment will always have to beat emails. If you cannot beat email in terms of response times, then the product is basically useless, because then you can just keep on using an email. We also monitor abandonment like a hawk. So for us, abandonment is a key thing here, because we need to see what's the longevity of this product as a new channel for our customer call center. So abandonment for us is if you didn't get your problem solved in a bot and you actually call somebody. So if you called somebody, it means you actually wanted a human and this product didn't actually help you at all. What we've realized from this is that people have a high tolerance for stupidity sometimes. They'll keep on hammering at the question until they get it right. So they kind of have a level of patience to train the bot at the same time. They understand it's like a little child, and because it's a little child, they can only speak to it in a specific way. So we're super happy about that, but then also, categorically, there will be people who hate your product. There are bot people, and there are people who will not have tolerance for bots, and I think most of you will experience that for yourself as you develop products. So build something that can scale. Obviously, with booking size, we need something that can scale. That's super important to us. So this is kind of a little sketch for you of how it all works. So Booking.com clients is our native application, so that would be our platforms. It's Android, iOS, WW, there's a tablet version as well, and mobile web. Then currently we're only on Facebook Messenger, and we're basically doing a pilot with them to see how this works. But the idea would be that we can scale to any of these other platforms that's available, depending on where our audience are. So if you think about it, WeChat in China, it's great for us. If we want to expand there, we have to go and find the audience on WeChat. The same with Alexa, Google Home, WhatsApp, the rest. We have this delivery and processing system we call Intercom, which the name will probably change in the future. Then we have decision trees. Decision trees are very simple. It's like round little circles that moves yes, no, and sends you in different directions. It doesn't actually look like a tree at all. It's more like chaos, that we all understand kind of where the chaos goes. Then we have a machine learning system that looks at historical data that kind of feeds back to this the whole time. Then we have UI components and messages and business rules that dictates what happens with these UI components. So I want to stop a little bit with this because everybody thinks there's no design needed if you are doing a chatbot. Because, Facebook gives you the components. You just, roll it out, off you go. So in our case, it's very difficult because our bot actually pushes back into the property and it pushes back into CS as well. So these components, these designs that we have to do, needs to be readable on different clients, not just the Messenger client or a WhatsApp client, but our CS systems, our other system, internal systems that's managed by our accommodation partners. And to be honest with you, it's super important that you add levels and levels of UI components, like a little, how can I put this? It's like coloring in. You would think a message is okay, that people are going to read. Nobody really reads, especially if there's multiple messages going on in a conversation. You need indications like stuff like little icons and avatars, little contextual messages to tell you what is actually going on, especially if you've got numerous conversations happening in a thread. Then I'm almost finished, and then we can have some time for questions. Maybe I rushed through it a bit. This is kind of what we're building. I think we're kind of at the broom stage of what we're doing. The reason why I'm saying this is that we're not going to replace humans at all. What we're trying to do is give our customer call center agents and our partners tools that will help them do their job more efficiently. 15,000 agents, if you think about it, that's a lot of people. So we're going to, of course, add more hotels. We're going to add, more people because there's more demand. But how are we going to deal with these humans that need to help the humans? So maybe if we give somebody a broom or a vacuum machine, they can do their job more efficiently. And if they can do their job more efficiently, we have happy customers, and we also have happy partners, and hopefully also we make more money, which is probably important as well. And that kind of, folks, is the gist of the conversation. And I'd like to invite some of my team members to come up to the stage. Come on, guys. Oh, last slide while they come here. What we've learned, fast answers from bots and humans are very important conversational interface. If you're slow, no go. People are just going to leave your product and go somewhere else. It's okay not to be clever, as long as you're proactively helpful. And make sure you have humans available to help as you learn. So, this is Fernando. Fernando's a user experience researcher. Come on closer, guys. This is Kathy. Kathy's a screenwriter, or I think UX writer. At Session is the designer, and Phil is another PO who works on the automation flows. So I really want you guys to use this opportunity to ask us anything, because we test this product a lot. We work on it every single day with our head in the trenches. So if there's anything that you're curious about, this is your opportunity to ask questions. Yes?
I know that Booking.com is very data-driven, so I wanted to learn, since you have so much data collected, can you share with us some examples that, your decision making based on the data that you collected?
So for us, it's about annotation at the moment, the data that we're using to make decisions on what to show in the bot. So we would basically annotate a ton of messages, and then we would say check-in and check-out, arrival and departure, and maybe cancellations is the 5 topics that's available that people are asking questions about. And based on this, we start building user flows from that. Yep.
Okay.
Hello, I have a question about the agent process. When the agent takes over, get some information from the chat so that you see, okay, we have the problem there.
Who wants to answer a question? You have to speak up.
Hi, so I'm Phil. Yes, so the agent, what we were very conscious about was actually equivalency across the 3 channels. So all 3, the guest, the hotelier themselves, and CS, they all see exactly the same conversation. We find this is very important because actually conversations can go from, say, the guest to the hotelier, and then maybe the hotelier, for whatever reason, needs to forward that on to CS. So it's very important that we make sure that everyone has exactly the same conversation. Now, at the start, actually, we kind of had, we managed the copy differently in each 3 areas. But actually found that we lost context sometimes when these conversations were being carried over. So it is very, very important for us that we have exact same messaging in all 3 of the areas so that everyone has exactly the same context. They are completely aware of what's been said, what the bot's saying, and make sure that language is completely comparable across the 3. Because we did find, and we have found, that actually if we tried to tweak it for, say, the hotelier or the customer service agent so that it was more contextual to them, we actually lost, sometimes the messages got mixed between the 3 channels. So we had to kind of say, right, let's just make everything level and everything the same.
Shoot.
Hi, my name is Saskia. I'm from Omnivo. I'm a dialogue designer, and
Kathy's eyes are going like this.
Yeah, thank you. I have a question. You mentioned that users are not interested in having dialogues and conversations. So my question is, do you have some data to verify that, or do you have numbers?
So we read, I'm telling you this because I can tell you this, is we read most of the messages, yes? So we have to read the messages to understand what the conversations are about. So CS has got our customer agents has got a ticketing system, yes? So a message would come in, they would tag a specific message as a query about X, yes? And then what happens usually is the agent just responds back. So we then check, did that person come back to you again, basically to try and continue some kind of conversation on the topic. And based on our data it's 1-1, and they're out.
Okay.
So basically, you would have a question about something, I don't know, related to your booking. A customer call center agent would respond to you, or the bot would respond to you, and you would usually get your answer, and you wouldn't actually request a dialogue.
Okay.
So potentially with Airbnb type properties, it's going to be different, yes? But what we've seen is, with the type of properties that we've got, is usually you would think that the questions are more complex, yes? But it's usually dumb stuff, like, can I add another bed to my room? And you just go, yes, you can. Or is my booking confirmed? Yes, it's confirmed. We're also very, very honest about the stuff that the bot can't answer. So if you ask really tricky questions, we're going to say, sorry, tap out, no way we're going to be answering this. So then we pick up the phone and call you.
Hi there. I just have one question. You have a lot of clients who are used to speaking to humans, right? How are you going to transfer them into the chatbot? Do you have any campaigns that you're planning on doing?
Who wants to answer that? Okay, I can answer it if you guys
So the way it works right now is it's experimental, and not everybody sees it. Only around 8% of the English-speaking bookers see the booking assistant, and it's surfaced throughout the post-booking experience. So after people have completed a booking, and it gets surfaced at different points. And of course, there are people who engage with it and use it, people who don't. So we're just surfacing within the app or the website.
We're almost trying not to market it, yes, because we only have 15 agents that have to deal with a ton of messages. So remember, it's also a scale problem for us. Also, people are amazing. They just find it. You know, like they see that little ask a question thing and it's like, yes, I want to tap on it. Okay.
So following on to that, I'm focused on voice design.
Oh.
And one of the problems we know with Alexa and skills is that there needs to be a value proposition for me to transition to that. So my question is, with the from the customer experience perspective, not your logistical problems, what added value might you be thinking about if we can just dream a little bit? You know I'm coming to Wien. You know where I'm staying.
There's so much we want to do. There's so much.
Could you just maybe dream a little bit out loud?
So if I can dream a little bit out loud, we know a lot about you actually, yes? So potentially we can surface relevant information to you about attractions, about ticketing. We can make your post-booking experience actually a lot richer. But once again, unfortunately, we have this customer problem, yes? Customer experience problem as well, that somebody needs to answer you if we get it wrong. So I think the problem with Booking.com is the scale, because even if you open it up just a notch, you just got 10% of English users. That is a ton of people. And you don't necessarily know what is important to them. So I think the best thing for us would be to focus on personalization, to make sure that when you use our product and you do get to that post-booking experience, that we have some semblance of what's important to you. Because I think your value proposition is way higher than just spamming you with relevant, unrelevant information. You know, go to this church, it's amazing. You don't probably care about churches. Maybe you just want to eat Wiener Schnitzels, you know. So we should send you restaurants. But these are the things I think that we have blue sky dreams about. I mean, I think most of us have blue sky dreams about standing in front of an art gallery, yes? And you write in this queue and ping, buy a ticket, yes? Why can't Booking just let you buy a ticket? No scanning, no weirdness, no emails, no calls, no standing in the line. Just buy your ticket and it's done. So these are like lots of things that there's definitely a lot of blue sky thinking happening. I think for us it's just great to get the foundation right.
Just to compliment on that, I think there's also added value in just getting your questions answered quickly. So there's a lot of evidence that we already have around that, just from user experience research that we have done. It's just getting the right answer quickly without having to wait on the phone is already adding value.
Just really
All right,
quickly.
so I'm really sorry because we're far ahead of the time we already had. So please give it up for Ilze and the team. Thank you.